Hey, hey, hey. Live from Denver. It's Friday night. Hey, critics. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Critical Conversations. Let's make sure we're all good. Welcome to the show. As you see, I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Melissa.
Hello.
We are very, very happy to be with you here today on this very rainy, very gloomy Friday evening here in Denver, Colorado. Rain, go away, come again another day.
Yes, please.
We've been saying that for weeks now. Apparently we are getting, I have an echo. What is that about?
Uh-oh.
An echo. I don't hear an echo. Echo. Well, you'll have to keep me up on that. I'm not hearing it on my end here. Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying, guys. So, rain. It's been bad. Apparently we are getting rain from Mexico. Like somehow there's been some pressure differential or something this year different from other years, and so all the rain that would be going up and I guess hitting California or something or going somewhere else was just coming over to us. I don't know.
Okay.
I got no idea. Okay, good. I'm very glad that all has been sorted out on the echo. All right. Also, before the show, I wanted to share, Mel and I had a funny, tongue twisters, voice exercises you can do to kind of get yourself good to go. I'm actually a little familiar with these because I do recording for voiceover work for my videos sometimes, and I'll sit there and me, and of course I did my audiobook, and I was, and all that. So here's a new one we came up with we never heard before. Testies is testing. There you go. Testies is testing.
Testies is testing.
There you go. All right. So there's our contribution to your good to your life this week. All right. Maybe there's a little bit more. I wanted to take a moment because I noticed this morning that I had more than a few new YouTube membership signups. I wanted to thank everybody out there who is signed up on YouTube. If you're not signed up on Patreon, you can use that join button down below, contribute a little bit to the channel on a monthly basis. It's really, really appreciated.
Yes.
And every little bit helps. Of course, you can always go even more with, one-offs through PayPal or Venmo or something, or, of course, sign up on Patreon. And, you can go over there and monthly contribute to the channel as well. All of it is what keeps all of this going. This is entirely fan-funded by you guys.
We could use an Uber ride to the grocery store right now.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I might as well tell you. This week, this is not something that has happened to me since I have been out of Scientology. But we got ripped off. Mel,
I went to visit with a friend at a place in Denver and parked my car on a side street. And when I came back to my car, the catalytic converter had been stolen. We have a Prius, and apparently the catalytic converters on Priuses are a hot commodity. Yeah,
seriously. Apparently these, apparently especially on Priuses, but catalytic converters in general have been a hot black market item for, I guess, a year or two now at least, and at least I've been hearing about it. They are worth money, and so, there she is at a meetup, and she comes out, and the car is, there's bolts on the ground, and somebody just literally came along and just ripped it out. So,
it's in the shop, but we don't know how long it's going to be. So.
No, exactly. And anyway, really super annoying. But you know what really gets me, and it really got me down for a few days, really got me upset this week. I was in a little bit of a about things this week, and if y'all follow me on Twitter, you might have seen a little bit of that coming out. But it's such a violation
Yes.
When somebody comes into your home or goes into your car or, takes something significant from you, it just feels like somebody has just kind of reached in and gutted you in some fashion. And I really have a very dim view on people that I would, I got all kinds of understanding of downtrodden, out of luck people who are having a rough time in their lives and are having a hard time surviving or getting along. I get it. I get that there is that strata of society. I mean, oftentimes I don't feel that far away from that strata of society, to be honest with you. We all feel like kind of one bad day or one bad week away from becoming the Joker or something. But at the same time, society and culture and people are worthy of respect, including respecting their stuff. And at my worst times, you would not want to go. Well, I will say at my worst times, and when I was at my worst is when I was taking things from other people. Sure, I've done that. I took money from my parents, and I've taken little things from people when I was in the Sea Org. That was not actually specifically when I was on the RPF, when I was at the lowest of the low of the low of my entire life. Not an excuse, but it was just the fact of the matter. So again, I get it. But I can't excuse it. I can't rationalize it away. I can't justify it. It's not right. You just can't be running around taking things from other people and thinking you're a good person or that that's a way to get along in life. It just isn't.
No.
I didn't pull it in. Definitely not. Okay, now we don't exactly have the hottest topic tonight, but I kind of threw it out there of, does life even have meaning? Really, we're gonna relate this back to cults and control and stuff, of course, and maybe I should have put that in the title. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell what's gonna grab people's attention.
Yeah.
But I definitely appreciate the viewership and support of my critics here who are here tonight. I see all the usual suspects in the comments here, and it's awesome. So first, though, we have the quote of the week. Yes. So let's get a quote from Mel here.
Alrighty, hold on. Okay, so this is about time. I figured that would work. So, time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time.
Time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. I like that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I like it. It's like, it's not wasted time if you're enjoying it and feeling good about it.
End of trading asks the question. All right, I'll answer this one. What do you think of the clickbait YouTube channels making big bucks on the ex-Scientology train? I obviously would not and do not respect that. I'm not calling out any specific person or individual or channel here. I will say any channel that would do that sort of thing. I hate clickbait. I hate content that is there just to get attention. It's like celebrities who are famous for being celebrities.
Yeah.
What's the point? What are you doing? What are we forwarding here? Are we giving anything new? Is there any creativity here? Is there any education here? My channel is kind of boring to a lot of people because I am kind of college professor-y. And that's not a problem to me. It's not like I look down on myself because of that. So, sometimes I get a little down about the viewership, but I don't ever doubt the quality of the work I'm doing here, and I'm always striving to do better, of course. But what I mean is, I know I'm not doing clickbaity bullshit. I'm not doing things just to attract attention,
right?
And with no substance to the, all style, no substance. And I really don't think that helps the cause. And this is a cause. This is not, this is activism that we are.
This is true journalism, not tabloid journalism.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We're trying to say something. We're trying to do something here. We're trying to, getting attention is necessary. And that's why I've said more channels, the better, the more stuff that's out there, the better. I mean that. the more the merrier, because it brings in more viewers. I'm not going to attract all the attention that needs to be attracted to this subject, because like I said just now, some people think I'm just boring, and I get it. I'm not their cup of tea, but maybe something else is, and great, as long as it's attracting attention to the cause, to the mission, to what we're trying to accomplish, and it's forwarding that goal by giving people information or advice or direction or, you know, some experience that incentivizes them to want to go do something, and then maybe directs as to where to go and what to do. That's the kind of thing that we want. You know, just attracting attention just for attention's sake and all that is ridiculous to me. And it's frustrating to me as well, of course, that, you know, money and attention goes in that direction when I don't feel it's, you know, earned. So, you know, that's kind of my take on all of that. Thank you guys for your nice comments here. And of course, I can't do anything else but what I do. I've thought about it. I really have. I've given it serious thought as to changing up the motif or style or how I go about doing my content. And I've looked at today, I was looking at the YouTube homepage with me signed out. So the algorithm wasn't affecting what was coming up. It was just, here are the most popular videos on YouTube. And YouTube is clearly not a place that people come for education primarily. They come here for distraction and noise and goofiness. And, you know, we tried on 100 different baseball hats, and here's a video with 500,000 views in 2 days, right? And here's a video with 2 million views of, you know, I did the Special Forces obstacle course. And it's like, okay, you know, great.
I'd rather watch educational videos on YouTube than that stuff, but that's me. I'm, you know.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much
that. Yeah,
that's pretty much what I'm using YouTube for too. Yeah. Although, of course, we sit and we'll
we
watch
movie reviews and
movie review channels and stuff like that. And of course, you know, absolutely. But even there, I still think you're providing more of a service than you are just, you know, goofy nonsense tomatoes with faces painted on them and stuff.
Right. The 500 billionth cat video. I mean, I love cats. I'll watch cat videos all day long, but still, that's not necessarily educational.
Yeah, there is cat videos. That's true. And again, I'm not even like lambasting the world or the audiences out there. It's just, you know, when you're trying to put something substantive out there, it's a little frustrating when you see where all the attention goes and you're like, yeah, but this is good stuff. I help people with this. Can't more of you guys be interested in this? And it's like, the struggle of, the eternal struggle of YouTube creators. Okay, so we mentioned the membership stuff and of course, Benson Cam, cannot forget that. So let's get our Snuggles, Not Struggles cam turned on here. This is our little furry bundle of love here. This is Benson, the Magnificent. And you can see he's being very magnificent there. He's just kicking it in the living room. He was just kind of staring at me. I thought, well, okay, I was talking to him here, and he was pretty unresponsive. Sometimes he
just ignores you sometimes.
I know, it's so funny. Sometimes he'll be jumping up and down on you and can't get enough. And then other times he is just totally chill. And you can see his little tail wagging there. He's in a perfectly good mood, but he's just completely comfortable there on the rug and having a good time. That was him this afternoon.
Yes, he's so cute.
We do love
shaggy.
Yeah, there he is. He's a little tired. We love our little doggy. I'll say one thing. I wanted to ask you guys about this because this has been something. We'll have him in the bedroom at night, not on the bed. I have not let him on the bed yet. I've been really good about that. But I wanted to ask you guys, he will smack his lips. He will lick his nose and lick his lips at night. And it's this like sound, right? And it drives me absolutely out of my mind. I can't believe how crazy I get with that sound. It's like kind of like that sound of somebody chewing with their mouth open, and you're just like, there's the sight of it, which is repulsive enough, but there's the sound. You know what I mean? That sound. There's a word for this. Anyway, I was wondering if any of y'all had encountered or felt that same way sometimes. Drives me crazy. I've been really working on trying to bring that down.
Yeah.
Didn't you read something the other day that maybe there's
part of the ADHD? Yeah.
Yeah, it might be an ADHD thing. I don't know. Just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, those of us with like ADHD and on the autism spectrum too, like both of those have things where people are like more sensitive to touchy, scratchy things, and oh, my socks are in the wrong position. So I could see how noises could be a part of that.
Yeah. They really they do. They get to you. Hey, Veronica, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I love giving random shout outs to people. Yeah, absolutely. You never know what your triggers are going to be. Well, you can know. That's actually kind of the point. I hope, by the way, you guys caught the live stream I did this week on Thursday. It was yesterday on influence. Really fun. I got to go through the whole PowerPoint I put together for the talk I did last weekend here in Denver at the Secular Hub. And I didn't record that talk, but I thought I would do it on my channel. And so you guys got to see that, or I hope you will go check it out. Because I think it's really, really important stuff. It doesn't have Scientology in the title, but it has everything to do with Scientology and every cult out there as far as how do they get you? How do they get you? They get you because you don't know how you're gotten. You don't know how influence works. And if you know about it, it's not 100% proof against it, but it gives you that much more armor. It gives you that much more security so that somebody can't just come along and fool you and you're wondering a year or 2 or 3 later when you're thousands of dollars poorer, or you're, you had some bum relationship, or, something like that. You're not sitting there going, how did this happen? Because you can stop it before it gets that far. That's what this stuff is all about. And it's, I just find it endlessly fascinating to know this stuff. Because it really does make, was it Wednesday? I guess it was Wednesday.
That you did your
live
stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, because it wasn't whenever I did my live stream. I know I am so bad now.
Wow. It's been such a weird week.
It has been a very, I'm going to say, it has been a weird week with the car thing and the weather stuff. It's been a weird week.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get to the actual topic here, this meaning of life thing. What am I talking about? One of our emotional needs is purpose, meaning, intention, goals, having a direction in our life. And I watched, and it had quite an impact on me, that I watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary on Netflix this week. Very impactful for me because Schwarzenegger's somebody I've known and kind of in a way looked up to for a good chunk of my life. I mean, Terminator and Conan the Barbarian were some of the first movies I saw of an adult nature that with this heroic character or villainous character, and of course Schwarzenegger's heyday was the 80s when I was in the theater every weekend, and his life story is inspiring. It really, truly is. He's accomplished a number of things, but he's also had a number of setbacks and problems and issues. Mistakes, exactly, that he created that undid some of that, or at least, kind of had their own levels of consequence to them. And I really recommend checking that out on Netflix if you have the chance, because it's quite a survey of this man and his life, and it is inspiring. Here's a guy from Austria. He came from nowhere, and he succeeded at the top of the field in bodybuilding, the top of the field in acting, and became a governor of a state and ran it.
A well-respected governor. A lot of people thought he was going to be a total joke, and
exactly. Thank you, Lonesome Squirrel. Perfect rendition there from Conan. That's my favorite quote. What is best in life? To vanquish your enemies, to bring them before you, and to hear the lamentations of their women. I love it. And that is a purpose of life right there. That's the meaning that you can give yourself. But anyway, seeing that really kind of got a lot of wheels turning in my head about my own life and and meaning and purpose in life and what, and how does this work? You can watch Monty Python's The Meaning of Life and learn that, every sperm is sacred. And
yeah.
And oh, there
Don't
it
eat
is,
too
right?
much,
Anthony,
yeah.
exactly. Yes, I have. And other than that guy puking, so
What else was
horridly.
there besides those two things? Those are like the two most memorable parts of that movie. I think.
Right, basically.
There was so much more to it, though.
I know. It really is quite something. But there's this sort of, in the way I do things, the way my life rolls, I do this whole thing on influence and all the things that influence us. And one of the results of doing that and getting deep into the psychology of the push and pull of why we do what we do gives you the idea, gave me the idea at least, and I've certainly shared this with other academic types in conversations, is it very much gives you the idea that we are very much not in control of so much of ourselves and our lives. We're all over the place. We are battered about, like driftwood on a storm by the very, the vagaries and problems and ups and downs of our existence. And very little of that has to do with or is controlled by the choices that we make. So how do we see our way through? How do we overcome that, or at least cope with the fact that we control so little, and yet we feel an illusion of control. We feel a need for control, to be the causative agent of our life, to be the guy in the driver's seat or the girl in the driver's seat, right? That's how we have instinctive drives. Which we can also refer to as emotional needs, to feel in charge, to feel at cause, to feel in control. And when we're out of control, when things aren't going the way we need them to be going, we have coping mechanisms, but it really feels very destabilizing. It feels chaotic. It feels not good. I don't know. Maybe some people crave that, but I think for the most part, people do not. They want things under their control. But that's exactly the thing. We actually do not have control over anything. That's the future. We're in the now. Good point, Corrine. Yeah. So yet these emotions and these feelings that run riot in our heads tell us the exact opposite. And a point I made in the live stream was that even if you don't understand or know the reasons why you are being influenced or motivated to do something, you will make up reasons. You will come up with reasons. Often they will be the wrong reasons, but they will make sense to you in the moment or on the long term, and you'll run with those, whether it's, God made me do it, or the devil made me do it, or I'm a bad person, or whatever, kind of mantras we tell ourselves, good and bad, right and wrong. We can do this with moralizing to ourselves, or we can talk about fate or kismet, or, the big allness of all or whatever, or just my boss is a dick, and all the stuff that we come up with to make our life make sense to us. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what reasons or rationale you come up with. As long as it makes sense to you, your life has order and meaning, and you feel somewhat like you're guiding it. And that is where this meaning of our life comes from, is navigating these issues and problems and having some idea of a route or way or path that we are walking. And there are people who don't even have that much. Life is just totally rando to them, and they have no idea coming or going or whatever. Little kids are like this. And some adults, unfortunately, are like this. You get people, addicts who get like that, criminals who can lead lives of purposeless no non-direction. And that's really sad. We see people like that and we go, damn, that's a shame, because they're kind of missing out on this more fun, fruitful, interesting experience of kind of, at least maybe we're not fully in charge, but at least directing ourselves in one fashion or another. And this is why it's very, very important that we establish goals and purposes and meaning for ourselves. Because here's the big question is, okay, well, what's the meaning of life? And obviously the answer is, I think Stuart mentioned at the beginning of the show in the comments, is it's what you assign.
Yeah.
That's the meaning. There is no cosmic, meaning.
And everyone wants different things out of life and has different meaning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because your emotional needs are yours. My emotional needs are mine. We can categorize them the same way: community, ego, meaning, and purpose, et cetera, et cetera. But how you fulfill those emotional needs, what fills your buckets, in other words, right, is going to be different. Mm-hmm. Some people love lollipops. Other people love gummy bears. And maybe some people like both. But that's, whatever's going to be good for them is going to be the answer they need. And here's the thing about this in terms of, I said I was going to get into the culty stuff. If you don't provide a meaning, if you don't provide a purpose or vision or goal for yourself, and this is where, this is why I was talking about the Arnold thing. This is a man who accomplished the things he accomplished because he established for himself through sheer force of will a very clear idea. He called it a vision. He didn't say it was just some dream. He said dreams are for idiots, right? This is a vision. This is where I'm going. And he put himself on that road, and he didn't think about it. He didn't excuse it. He didn't let himself get emotional about it. He just went, that's where I'm going. And he had goals that were insane levels of goals for somebody who was in the position he was in. First, getting into the bodybuilding world and becoming Mr. Universe multiple times. From this kid in Austria, right? That was the first goal, is the Hercules thing. And then to go from that, with his accent, his lack of culture, I'll say, is his cultural differences, probably be a much more accurate way of putting it. He was definitely rough around the edges.
Oh, yeah.
Way rough around the edges. He tells a story about when he first met Maria at the Kennedy's place, and he tells her grandmother, yeah, she's got a nice butt, and I was like, why did I say that? I have no idea why I said that, right? It's just, that's what I mean. It's just a little rough around the edges, right? But yet still so determined, so purposeful in accomplishing his goals that he just never even questioned it. He just never questioned it. It was like, this is what I'm doing. And thereby accomplished, through years of hard work and perseverance and discipline, accomplish those goals. And it's really admirable. Mm-hmm. And it made me think about my own goals and purposes and what am I trying to do right now, and really got me thinking a lot more about where am I trying to take all of this. But the point where I'm trying to go with this is, if you don't have that, if you lack that, if you're thinking, let me put it this way. If you don't have that, someone else is going to be more than happy to give it to you.
Yep, it will be provided.
Yeah. And that is a little dangerous, right? That's kind of really the point I wanted to sort of focus on tonight is, if you don't provide that meaning, if you don't put that emotional need firmly in place and realize it is an emotional need you have, I don't know one human being who doesn't have this. And, deep down, or it can't be rehabilitated. Even criminals and addicts can reform and get better and get purpose and direction. And in fact, purpose and meaning is so vital to our core that alone has been known to rehabilitate people, or is a vital step in a rehabilitation program. Is, where are you going? What are your goals? What are you doing? Give yourself a goal, give yourself a direction, and push yourself in that. And that's the very thing that can keep you going to dig yourself out of those holes. That's what got me through the RPF. And I'll tell you, there's an experience that I needed some direction. that was it, because that was the bottom of the bottom for me. I was really bad off. I mean, I was thinking about, like, it was bad. So so if you can't come up with that, formulate that, or somehow envision that, then you're going to be floundering around to the point where you're going to be looking for other people to give you that direction or give you that goal or purpose. And that's not a good idea, because there be dragons down that road, right there. There be, maybe people who don't have your best interests in mind. They have their best interest in mind. Their goal is to get as many you types around them, servicing their needs, right? Furnishing their goal fulfillment rather than your own. And if there is one way you might describe a cult or a culty situation, it would be a situation where everybody in the group is there to forward the leader's goals and purposes. Mm-hmm. And that becomes theirs. It's not about what my goals and purposes are. It's all about the revered leader. Ugh. And they become kind of extensions of that leader. That's that codependency that I've talked about, right? They become dependent upon the leader to give their life purpose and meaning. And happiness, because that's where we derive so much of our happiness from. So that's not a good place to be. It's kind of like the other day when I was saying that, you don't want to be in a group. You don't want to be in any situation or group where everybody's on the same page all the time on everything. The more everybody's on the same page about everything, the more you're in a cult. Because that's what cults are, is groups where everybody's on the exact same page. That's a little bit too much compliance. That's a little bit too much uniformity of thinking. And it's not healthy for us, because we need push and pull. We need, pushback on our goofiness. We all get goofy from time to time and start saying and asserting pretty goofy stuff.
True.
And we need somebody to rein us in, pull us back, right? So anyway, yeah. Well, that's exactly right, Anthony. And in fact, Scientology pretends to give your own meaning of life with the whole, if it's true for you, it's true. It's actually even more in depth than that. Scientology goes far deeper than simply mantras about reality and truth. Clearing the planet becomes a purpose. Target 2, right? Clearing this planet, moving on to another one, and eventually clearing the universe becomes like this idea of something you're going to spend your life doing. You're going to spend lifetimes doing. And this defined my existence for decades. Was literally the idea of changing the entire world. And what a delusional idea. What a crazy level of silly idea to think that one person or one group or even one group is going to actually change the world.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Not that way. People can have, for short periods of time, individuals and groups can have a massive amount of influence. But that influence has a life cycle, and it's going to die, right? And the more influence you have, in a way, it's just, there's a lot of things to say about it. But you're not saving the world, changing the world, making everybody over in your image.
No. The
idea everybody's going to join one big collective group, Scientology or the CCP or, the Communist Party or whatever, it's ludicrous. It's absolutely silly. When I'm talking about meaning for life here or adopting goals or purposes, I mean for you as an individual. That's where the happiness and the satisfaction is derived from. So all that being said, the Borg. We don't want the Borg. Exactly. Yeah, what was that? I love this. I love this ex-Scion. Scientology will tell you they will give you your ability to have your own choice back. All you have to do is exactly what they say. Exactly. What was that line from the Labyrinth?
Which?
At the end, there is this great line that David Bowie Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, I'm trying to
Quote.
remember what you're talking
David
about.
Bowie. It's at the end when he's talking to her. Sorry. If I can't find it really fast, then I will move on here. But do as I say, and I shall be your slave. That's it. Do as I say, and I shall be your slave. Right? The second I saw that, I saw that recently, and I just thought, is there any line in cinema that encapsulates the cult leader follower relationship better than that line? Right? Do as I say, and I will be your slave. I just nails it. Okay, so that all being said, let's go ahead and pick up calls. If you all want to call in now to discuss whatever, 984-214-4154 would be the number. So give us a call. Let's go ahead and pick up this first call. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome from France.
Hi, good evening, Chris, and wonderful good evening to Melissa.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for taking my call. And I had to call because this topic really touched me. And I don't want to talk too much because I know there are for sure other people in line waiting. And if it's okay with you, I will shortly explain what happened to me in my life, because it's not about cult in that sense. I never really cared about myself when I was young. I think the generations of today do not really care anymore much about themselves, about a sense in life. They just, everything is short living and everybody wants to be somebody and wants to be fast famous. And so I never really cared. And then suddenly when I was in my 30s, I met a guy, and I'm sorry if that's okay if I talk just like that.
No, please go ahead.
I had a relationship, and the people around me told me, you are now in your 30s and you should think about a child. And I never thought about the meaning of life. I just thought I just live, have party, go on, make my job. And I never really cared about anything. I mean, I love my parents and stuff, but I never really cared about anything else. And so I had this relationship and I became pregnant. Unfortunately, I was in an abusive relationship. Unfortunately, also immediately, like when I became pregnant, he became violent. And in my stupid thoughts, the meaning of life, I thought, okay, I have now this responsibility and accountability. I made this. I became pregnant. I have to go through this. I have to, make a future for my child. So I said, we have to marry, we have to go the classic way, we have to secure the future of the child. It was a stupid thing I ever did. So the birth certification was signed with his name, and which later got me a lot of troubles with custody and all of those things. And what happened was I realized shortly after I really went through a lot of struggles with him. I was literally, when I was pregnant and then when I gave birth, a lot of times in hospital, but still couldn't leave. I know this has not literally something to do with the topic, but still, I was thinking I need to give a sense of life to the whole thing because I have a daughter now. I got a baby and she was a daughter. And what I'm trying to say is, so when I finally escaped out of this relationship, there was nobody really wanting to help me. Because when you are a woman with a child and suddenly you say, okay, you're in a violent relationship, everybody's saying, yeah, it sounds hard, but the friends are saying, yeah, I can't take you because tomorrow I have to work and the baby will wake me up. So you better go to a women's shelter.
Mm.
So once I did that, I finally realized there are some certain people that try to bring you into some kind of organization, saying, oh, you're now in this bad position and you have nothing, so you better join us and we will help you.
Right.
And I just wanted to bring this perspective in the whole conversation as well, to give a bit of perspective to all the women and men, of course, as well, all those people that have been going through kind of violent, abusive relationships.
Awesome.
My daughter gave me the purpose of life. She helped me to survive because I realized quickly it's not anymore about me. It's done. You know, I was in my early 30s and I realized, oh my God, what have I done? Okay, there was no more time. And I was literally, I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional and it's difficult to explain. I'm very sorry, but it's such an important topic what you actually say here and bring tonight. And I love you for that. And that's why you are, in my opinion, one of the best channels YouTube has, that you give people a voice, that you let people speak and give their experience and give that few minutes to tell the world what's going on in reality. The reality was nobody really cared. I had to get myself out of it. And the purpose was in my life, I need to make this child having everything possible. I'm not sure how to say. I need to make everything possible in my abilities, that she's not suffering, that I'm not going into a fucking court. I said the F word. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. It's all right.
I mean, it was literally when you go to women's shelter. I'm just saying, I'm not sure how it is, but so many people trying to bring you into something and trying to tell you, you now have to go the religious way, you have to go this way and that way. You need to be very, very, very clear in your mind to not go the wrong way.
Yes.
And I just want to give a shout out to all those women who go through those struggles. I'm with you. And I made it, so you can make it.
That's right.
And that's right. And thank you so much for giving that platform. And I had this experience that I was once consulted by a religious group when I was in the women's shelter, who was literally telling me it was sounding very culty, to be honest with you, and that's the last thing you need. Okay, the last thing you need is something like that. And think about it. Never give up on yourself. You are strong, and you are someone who deserves to be on earth. And your child deserves to be on earth, and girls and men, doesn't matter. I mean, never give up. And sorry, I don't know what to say, but I thought that is important to say as well.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for calling in and saying all of this and sharing your story. It matters, and it's important, and it's inspiring even. I mean, as you know, you're seeing some comments here. This is exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about is direction and meaning and goals, and you navigate the problems of life, and you have done so despite a lot of hardships, and that is very, very incredible. So well done for that.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Melissa.
You're welcome.
And I love you both very, very much. And I have to say, if you do not have children, okay, it's not, in my case, it was really my girl, my baby. I just got one. I never got another one. Never was blessed by God with another one. And I know a lot of couples are struggling with that. I just want to tell you, as long as you're good human beings and you give other people good things, I mean, don't think about it. Don't get into that trap. You are all awesome people. All right.
Awesome.
So that's what I wanted to say, and thank you so much.
I
bet. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in, and you have a good night.
Yes, thank you very much, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
What an
Yeah.
awesome
I was
call.
gonna say they do that kind of stuff at homeless shelters too. I know from my uncle's experience, and it's like, oh, you have to do this to get the food. You have to do that to get services, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
why do I have to join your religion to get services?
Yeah, it's the conditionals and the little strings that are attached that I find super annoying, because if you're going, and I'm not going to go on some big rant right now, okay, but let me just say this. I am very happy that there are a number of churches out there that engage in charitable activities.
Oh, yeah.
And I recognize that a lot of it is just really the Lord's work. It's really great. It's selfless. It's kind. It is helpful for people who are down, and I really, really want that. There's some of that which has strings connected with it and conditions and will help you, but. And if there's a but, then it's how much charity are we really talking about? Are we engaging in some kind of tit for tat obligation thing here?
Yeah.
Or are we actually just being selfless helpers? And I think there's a difference. And I think we all know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah,
So,
it's a difference between if you give some of your extra food to someone in need versus giving them an extra food but being like, but you got to come mow my lawn,
yeah. And well, that reminds me a little bit in that, of course, having some exchange is fine, but this business of, we'll give you this food if you join our church.
Exactly.
That's where I go, hang on. All right, let's see what else we've got in the queue here. This, I believe, is Travis. Hello.
Howdy.
Hey, Travis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for taking my call, and hello, Melissa.
Hello.
All right. So that previous caller was great, and I can't top what she had to offer, but I will help develop what she had to say. In fact, she helped make the points and that I'm about to make, and I think the meaning of life depends a lot upon what their identity and what their responsibilities are. And that previous caller, with as amazing as she was, actually indicated that she had become a mother. She identified as a mother, which she was, and she was responsible then for her daughter. And most parents I've met have always said the same thing. It's not about them anymore. Now they have to take ownership for their responsibility of being a parent. And here's this little person, or a big person, depending on how old the child is. And you're responsible for how they turn out. You've got this little person. And thank God people do that. And those are the two things that come up, identity and responsibility. So, somebody may identify as a citizen. They want to be a good citizen of, take your pick. Well, what are the responsibilities that come along with doing that? Or a neighbor, or there's somebody who wants to invest in the health of others, physical health. And another example of this is you, Chris. You've identified yourself as somebody who doesn't want, or at least this is what I've gathered, you don't want people to make the same mistakes you have and go visit a Scientology organization and sign up for that.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And one of your purposes is, hey, let's, earlier you said you don't get as many views as you like, and that's an issue maybe, but at the same time, you find a purpose in saying, one less person or 10 fewer people who don't go down and sign up for the Fun Time Xenu play. That's actually a contribution.
That's right. That's right. No, they're very much so. And in fact, I was just this week on my live stream commenting on something that I think tweeted this week, but it really kind of hit home to me that it's not just trying to keep people out of cults or keep people out of destructive situations. It is, for me, what's the word? Sparing people, somehow getting across to them, the amount of years that can be lost, the amount of your life that can be lost dedicated to something that is just absolute nonsense, and whether it's a bad relationship or, bad job or a cult or whatever it is, I really want to get across to people how to avoid that because I want people to have the most fulfilling lives they can. And I think that's what it comes down to. So, anyway, so thank you for bringing that up so I could say that.
Yeah, and I'm going to put it in a funny but not so funny way. Part of your message is, hey, don't be like me.
Yeah.
And I'm not making... Yeah. And I'm not making fun of you. You know how many people I tell in the regular world, don't be like me? For real. I'm not going to go into all of it now, but my gosh, let me tell you something. Let's go down a list. All right. Now, that doesn't mean I'm doing poorly now, but when it comes to mistakes, I've got more of those than math homework. Okay. So now, a couple of things. I would like to say that there is a rare exception to watch out for everyone who's who's on the same page. There are rare exceptions to that. I was in the military, and I can tell you that we needed to be all on the same page. Sure. No discussion. And because people's lives were on the line.
Absolutely. Right. I get your point, and I agree with you about that. Absolutely. Yeah. Now,
that doesn't mean that after whatever was going on had concluded that we didn't go and close a door and yell at each other or make sure that there was right. Sometimes people would, throw a punch or two. I didn't ever do that, but it happened. That's where the what you're talking about comes into play. Right. You're not on the same page. You really weren't, but yeah, you have to act in a unanimous fashion. Believe me, I got into and out of trouble with the help of other people, and yeah. And now I have a funny question.
Yeah.
This is a not so serious question.
What you got?
What do y'all think about midget wrestling?
Oh my God.
I'm going to say that I find it enjoyable and oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to word it this way. Boy. I find it enjoyable in short spurts. And not in a degrading way. It's just, if you're going to put yourself out there to be entertaining, I'll be entertained by that. So sure. There you go.
Yeah, as long as they're having fun.
Exactly.
And don't feel bad about it,
Exactly. Thank you, Travis.
All right. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right. We have one more call we're going to pick up here. I think this is a first-time caller. Hello. Is this Edna?
Yes, it is.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
Hi. I'm kind of known as Rev Girl.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the meaning of life.
We are. Yes. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is 42.
Yes. Yes.
That's the answer to life, I think.
That's right.
But I'm 65 now, and when I was 14, I got involved in Scientology. And there was a part of me that wanted to be in a cult because cults were, happening, and it seemed like it was the new religion, and it was young and hip, and there were cute guys there. So I signed up, and I did it for 12 years. And I didn't go to college when I was young. I did do it later. But so those 12 years kind of put me a little, back from the rest of the world. And so I didn't put enough money in Social Security. I didn't save for retirement. Now I'm retired and living on practically nothing.
But, I'm sorry.
But, when I did go to college in my 40s, I tackled this question.
Mm.
And I think that for me, I've always wanted to help people. And that's kind of how I got snagged into the cult, partially too, because I became an auditor. I was an ordained minister for the Church of Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did, weddings and funerals and the whole 9 yards. I did Sunday service for the organization that was closest to me. And I am trying to protect my identity a little.
No problem. No problem at all. I'm not going to say anything further about it.
Yeah. I don't want any PI visits. But
well, no worries.
I decided in my 40s that I wanted to help people. Mm-hmm. So I got my degree in work in human services. And I also, toward the end, I ended up being a substitute teacher. And I absolutely, enjoyed. I mean, even if it was just substituting in kindergarten and I tied a little kid's shoe, mm-hmm. It was fulfilling for me. And now that I'm retired, my health, I'm forced to take care of myself right now. I had to put myself first. But I still think, I would volunteer helping people. And I just don't want to get caught up in another cult, because I do remember when I was in the Sea Org on my half day off, walking around Los Angeles, looking at the apartments that other people had. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, I just want a normal life.
Right.
And that's kind of what led to me glowing. And then I created a normal life within the church. And I really tried as a field auditor. But the church fought me at every step.
Yep.
As a field auditor.
Yep. And
so then, I started finding out about some of the secretive stuff. There was a mass exodus of field auditors. I think it was like 1984 or 85. And I was in the blue building, the big blue building. Mm-hmm. And all the field auditors were called in. And we got locked in to the room. And they were forcing us, the Sea Org members there, were trying to get us all to sign a contract that we would give 10% of our income for the rest of our lives to the church. And they weren't going to let us out until we signed that. So instead, we were not happy people. And there was at least 500 people, maybe more, in that room. So we, some of the guys got together and they busted that damn door open. And we were standing in the street, not on the sidewalk, but in the street, which is now that LRH Boulevard.
Yeah.
And we all left, and we called it the mass exodus.
Wow.
And then after that, I went down and drove, and I saw that damn base with the guard dogs and, the guys with the wire fences and all that.
Oh, yeah. Over in San Jacinto, the gold base?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, me and some friends went down there. And then, what's his name? Damn it. David Mayo.
Yep.
I went to a talk that David Mayo was in.
Yep.
Found out all the crap that was going on at that time up there. And it was before, I'm pretty sure I think it was before LRH dropped the body.
Yeah. What you're describing is the time right before he died. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, we just all left. And that was in,
Yep.
And I haven't looked back, but I did have one child at that time. I have 3 now. And a lot of it too was, it was time to take my kids to Disneyland, not give all my goddamn money to Scientology.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so I made that choice.
Wow.
But
Well,
anyway,
good for you. Good for you.
I do love this show. I love the call-in aspect, like an old radio show. So it's kind of cool.
Good.
I'm really digging SPTV and all the different personalities. It's fun.
Good. Excellent.
So,
Excellent.
I guess I'm one of the regular suspects, and I'll continue to pass out cookies.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for calling in and sharing your story. I very much appreciate it. And I'm glad you got out. And I'm glad you've raised some kids. And I'm glad that we got a chance to meet and talk tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have a great day. Love you.
Bye-bye. Awesome.
Bye.
All right. So that is our calls for the show here for this week. 1980s, rough time. And, it's so crazy how all of that was being done back in the 80s in an effort to try to keep people from doing exactly what she and so many other people did. Went and ran to David Mayo, went and checked out David Mayo's stuff, right? Because that was a big schism point in Scientology. And it's actually, in hindsight, almost miraculous that Scientology didn't collapse then. Given the shenanigans that Miscavige, Hubbard, and all of the young Turks, as they are called, got up to between 1982, 1985, 86, when Hubbard died. A crazy, crazy time in Scientology's history. Really, really chaotic. All right. So thank you, callers, everybody who called in this week. They were awesome phone calls. And with that, we will go ahead and start wrapping up. I will let you guys know about the weekend shows in a moment. First, let us do our traditional critical thinking cards. What do we got this week?
Burden of proof. Saying that the burden of proof lies not with the person making the claim, but with someone else to disprove. Bertrand declares that a teapot is, at this very moment, in orbit around the sun, between the Earth and Mars, and that because no one can prove him wrong, his claim is therefore a valid one.
Oh, yeah. All those teapots floating around in space.
Yeah, but if you
prove me wrong.
If you make the claim, you prove it.
Prove me wrong. Yeah, burden of proof's on you, buddy. Mm-hmm. You're going to make that claim, you're going to have to prove it. Okay, tomorrow, you guys have a real awesome podcast dropping. Okay, I did an hour podcast. I think it's about an hour. I don't think it went an hour longer than that. Dr. Yanya Lalich, one of my heroes, one of the thought leaders and OG cult fighters in this entire field. Yanya's been around for years. Not just fighting Scientology. She came out of a political cult. She's written books. She has gone on shows. She's been in documentaries. She is amazing. And she is somebody who put together what's called the bounded choice model for thinking about cults. She explains that in the podcast tomorrow. I very, very much want you guys to check that out. And then I will be doing a pre-recorded Q&A. I'll record it tomorrow for Sunday. Okay, so that's the weekend content coming. And of course, on Monday, you'll have Tony and me discussing, the stuff that's been on his blog for the last week from his Substack. So you guys have a great night tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for your support. And bye-bye.
Have a good night.